We've been covering a bunch of moments from this Turning Point USA, the People's Conference event, not because it's the most significant thing in the world, the organization, but because it brings a bunch of really influential people within MAGA all onto one stage and gives us a sense of just how extreme the movements become. And here I have for you Alex Jones, who is clearly just spiraling out of control. A really concerning situation going on in Alex Jones's world. We've already covered that. That's probably contributing to why he's so unhinged in the video that I'm about to play for you. But it is so freaky, not to be too redundant, because I said this with the March of the Green story and probably others. So freaky that what you're about to hear in this clip resonates with a lot of people. Remember, this same convention Trump spoke at. So the presumptive nominee and all these influential people within the movement, elected representatives, etc., coming together. And one of the people that also aligns with them is Alex Jones saying this.
Alex, I have to ask you, and I'm going to interview you for a minute. Alex, what do you think they'll do to President Trump between now and Election Day?
You're reading my mind.
What will they do to him?
God literally gave us Donald Trump imperfect as most men or women that God raises up in history. But he is a man of steel. He is a man who has ice water in his veins. He is a man who gets stronger under...
And he's about to float something super dangerous, but then prepare because it gets even worse somehow later in the clip.
...attack. And so they have already put him through hell with all these show trials and rigged courts, civil and criminal. And they are going to try to assassinate President Trump. Make no mistake about that. They are going to try to pull out all the stops. And so we've got to pray for President Trump many times a day. And we've got to bust our rear ends to get out there in America, because the people are waking up and they're ready to become fully awake, and let them know that the WF and the UN and Bill Gates have said they're bringing new lockdowns, more forced injections.
And before he goes further, this is just disturbing. What is going on with people? Think about how cold. Okay, let me not even say this in the way that I've said it so many times. Instead, I want to say it this way. MAGA. Let's say you're a moderate Republican and you get mad at me, and I've had people get mad at me in my personal life, for saying that MAGA has become a cult and MAGA is the center of the Republican Party. How are we supposed to view this? We need to be praying for the dear leader multiple times a day because everything is rigged against him and he has been risen up by God, and they're going to try to assassinate him, but he is stronger than all of the evil in the world. And then Alex Jones is aggressively blinking while he's saying this. And then listen to the end of this. I'm going to really quickly pause your viewing of this video to request that you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. I think almost 70% of our audience, as we talked about before, is not subscribed to the channel. That's crazy town. If you could please click it, I would greatly appreciate it.
They're cutting off the farms. They're cutting off the energy. And if you think the economy in free fall right now is bad, it is going to be 10 times worse. So this is existential. We are at war with the globalists, and we must now recognize that this is a war. This is just as important as 1776, and in the context of the population of the world, the weapons we have now, it is more important. This is a continuation of the fight between free, open societies and tyrannical world government. And the left represents the most evil, wicked, anti-free market corporations on the planet, led by BlackRock, that thinks it controls your life.
Yeah, and without getting into a whole conversation, as we've talked about before, there's a bunch of, with these globalist conspiracy theories, anti-Semitic undertones, but again, we'll save that conversation for a different day. He did say that we're in an economic collapse. We're not, okay? You can acknowledge problems without just being wrong about the facts of the situation. By any traditional economic metric that we use to judge the economy, we're on the right track, Alex, okay? And we want to make things better for people. But you screaming your head off as you seem to be having some sort of unwell situation in your life about the globalists and about them cutting off farming and cutting off energy, as the United States is currently producing more energy than we ever have in the past, including oil production more than any country in the entire world, in the history of the world, being produced right now under President Joe Biden. But they're somehow cutting off energy production. And they're gonna make us eat bugs, as Alex Jones says. You screaming about that does nothing to help people's lives. If you do have issues with certain policies of Biden's, or you think the improvements could be made, I've said it before. We just want to give you health care. We want free markets still. We want capitalism. We just think we could add a few more regulations and a few more programs that assist in making sure capitalism serves people the best that it can, okay? Just take a breath with me, Alex. But the dangerous part of this is that he's saying this is war, the big W. W-A-R. I know how to spell. I just decided I was going to describe it a different way. And this is war, and this is 1776. Do you know why people like Alex Jones reference that? Because it gives people a sense of a revolutionary goal where violence is justified, right? Because we all acknowledge that there's times gone by when violence was used for the correct end goal, right? World War II, we had to use violence for something that was justified. Okay, fair. So then he has to reference a moment that feels like it's that existential. So violence, but he won't say violence explicitly. Instead, he has to say 1776. And this is war. Now, let's say you stumbled across American politics and you don't know, is this guy the rational one? Or is Alex Jones the rational one? Even if you don't quite know on the substance, are the globalists really going to make us eat bugs? And are they really going to cut off all energy production and farming? Or are they not? And is the entire world controlled by the globalists? Whatever that means. Or is it not? You've now been introduced to me. Hello, alien from another world who's not familiar with American politics at all. Now let me show you a little bit of this Alex Jones figure.
It's also inspiring.
My voice will completely go into this, but it's fine. It's my resistance to them. It's like God's transmission. It's a human under attack. We're gonna beat these people. I'm not trying to be dramatic here, but it's been a hard fight. These people hate our children.
You don't need to know much about me or about Alex Jones or about any rational person in Alex Jones to just compare and contrast how things are being talked about and go, I think I have my winner in terms of who's being more reasonable here. And just let's return to this, because I want anyone in my audience who watches regularly to really have this clear and go out and tell people this same message. Because I think this is, when you whittle it down, this is the contrast in this election. Alex Jones, MAGA, Trump wants retribution. That's a part of his campaign sort of rallying cry. There's this vision of we're going to win so that we can harm our enemies, so that we can destroy these evil leftists, the globalists. Oh my gosh, that was just harmful. Remember, we want to win too. We want to do so peacefully through the political system. And we're going to work our tails off to win this election. But the reason we want to win is very different. We don't want to win because we're salivating over the idea of watching our enemies suffer. We want to win because we think the policies that we believe in really will help a bunch of, as many people's lives as possible, including a bunch of MAGA people. we've talked about this before, but a lot of the infrastructure investments, because a lot of the infrastructure deficit are in rural communities, have been made in rural communities under Biden. And we've seen Republicans try to take credit for them because of that reality. Boebert, Tuberville, etc. And that's a good example of our goal is to win, is to defeat you so that we can help everyone, including you. It's not about hurting a certain part of the country or owning a part of the country or any of that. We unfortunately have to oppose you in a major way politically. But again, it's because we believe it's in the interest of all Americans. Whereas what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, even if they said otherwise, from these MAGA folks is this hunger for revenge and hunger for seeing a part of the country be punished and suffer under a Trump administration. I have people in my DMs say, when Trump gets elected, he's going to lock up liberals like you. The heck is that? That's weird. Or Joe Scarborough. Trump posted a video of one of his supporters going up to Joe Scarborough and saying, you're going to be targeted. I forget the word, but, when Trump wins, he's going to go after you. Ick. That's whack. Why would that be why you want to see your candidate win? To see other people suffer? Bad. Instead, I think the message of all Americans being better off and investing in very often disproportionately rural communities, red areas, is one that is far more beautiful. Let me know what you thought of all that in the comments. And if you want to get access to the daily bonus show, extra episode of the show every day, you can do so by clicking that join button below.